Hello, everyone. It has been far, far too long. As always, I feel like I can't ever produce videos fast enough, except when I was. But that's been a long time ago. Um, but recently, I was like, I want to get back in the game, and I should get back in the game with something that's really classical to this channel. I mean, ponies are just the gift that keeps on giving, really. So I thought I would talk about something long overdue because it's been so long. I would talk about the new seasons. I forget when the last time I actually did a pony talk video is, so sorry if this video covers some stuff that's a little bit redundant. Um, I don't think I have that much to say about season 4 and 5. Seasons 1 through 3, I'll probably kind of know my opinion on. Seasons 4 through 5 shows picking up a little bit of steam, and then bam, season 6 happens, and it's the best season ever. As is apparent here, Starlight Glimmer is best pony. And despite what the siren says, you can't change my mind. She's best pony. She's magical and super good at everything, which obviously means she's the best and everyone loves her, including me. um So that was exciting. I don't know how many of you have seen the show, but basically, Starlight Glimmer traveled through time through a spell that was totally rad. Time travel is always a good idea. If you don't know what you're doing in a show, write in time travel. Everyone will love it. I always love time travel plots in anything. So Starlight Glimmer travels through time because Twilight, during season 5, Twilight like punched Starlight Glimmer in the dick or something. So Starlight Glimmer wasn't very happy about that. So she travels in time to try and like kill Twilight Sparkle or something. It totally isn't an overreaction, trust me. Totally justified. She travels through time, and there's an epic adventure, and of course she becomes friends with Twilight because everybody ever has to become friends with Twilight. It's a rule of nature or something. So Starlight Glimmer becomes friends with Twilight, and they hang out, and Starlight Glimmer becomes the apprentice of Twilight, which is obviously nonsense because Starlight Glimmer is the best magician ever, but I guess they had to pretend the show was still about Twilight somehow. So Starlight Glimmer steals the show for season 6. The biggest crime is that she's barely in it. Season 6 happens, and they have a bunch of other episodes about other shit that no one cares about. Like I don't even remember. I think there was an episode where Applejack went on a boat adventure with Rarity and Pinkie Pie. That happened. Actually, it was a pretty decent episode, but like it would have been better if Starlight Glimmer was there. They probably wouldn't have even had. I guess they wouldn't have had anything to fight about though. They would have all just like hung out and been like, "Hey, Starlight, you're pretty cool. Glad we got to know you." That didn't happen. Let's see. So, there was also a really good episode where Rainbow Dash feeds the town a bunch of cookies, and everyone's really happy, and they love her rainbow cookies. And I don't know. I think it's a metaphor for something. I mean, everyone gets rainbows all over their faces. I'm not sure what that's a metaphor for though. Um, but I'm sure you could think of something. Let's see. So, season 6 happens, Starlight Glimmer hangs out. It kind of goes back to the kind of stuff the show normally does. Starlight Glimmer has cool powers. She, like, does mind control, which is something that's rad. Once kind of like time travel. Everyone likes mind control. Mind control is something that good ponies do. I don't know why. I don't know why that isn't in more shows. I mean, seriously, what did clearly whoever's writing these MLP episodes understands me. I like time travel, mind control, all kinds of crazy stuff, cloning. That's something they haven't done. They haven't done a cloning saga. They really should. Shows about to be on season 9. They don't have that long to do it. Oh yeah, so anyways, as that happens, she takes mind controlling for a whirl. She becomes friends with Trixie, and they talk about magic stuff or whatever. I guess that's fine. Trixie obviously isn't nearly as cool though. She's just kind of like, she's basically a cheerleader to Starlight Glimmer, but that's okay. Every good hero needs a cheerleader, right? So that happens, and then we get to season 7, which isn't as good. Oh yeah, at some point they had an episode with a baby. I don't really remember much about it, but it was really good. That's another thing. I mean, that's not really as universally good, but you know, I was surprised. The babies. Who knew that you could make an episode about that? Anyways, so they go on to season 7, and there's this big thing with changelings. And who doesn't love the new changeling design? Dude, they're just so colorful. It's like you took a little bit of color from everything else in the show, and it was just like, how could we utilize all of these colors? And then they did it to make what is obviously the best character design anyone's come up with. And the fact that they changed from weird bug-like things to cooler looking, prettier bug-like things, totally a good story move that makes total sense, and everybody loves it. I love it. I love that there is not any question as to whether they're good now. Everyone just sees a changeling and it's like, oh, they're pretty, they've got to be the good guys, and they are. So, good stuff. And, oh yeah, so this is Thorax, for anyone who doesn't know. He's a bug, obviously. He's also really gay, but that's good. I mean, that's some representation right there. I mean, you can kind of just tell by looking at him, right? Hopefully. If not, if you see him with his brother, you'll know for sure. But don't worry, it's done very tactfully, never shoved in your face. But, I mean, it's pretty obvious, those two have something going on. So anyways, any episode with Thorax, an instant classic. He's, really smart and he's the king of the changelings because I guess everybody was sick of Queen Chrysalis because she was kind of a bitch. So they were like, no, no more of that. We're done with that. We're gonna be pretty looking and live with the ponies who will just love us and it'll be great. So that happens. And once again, season 7 just sort of has some pretty good episodes. Like I said, anything with Thorax is good. There's more episodes of Starlight Glimmer. The best episode is, of course, the one with both of them. The ones with both of them where they both do stuff. There's not enough of that. I don't know why they didn't just make the entire season about Thorax and Starlight Glimmer hanging out. With Thorax's brother, of course, also being there. But they didn't want to. I guess I don't know. Man, I really can't. My memory is kind of failing me on a lot of the specifics of the season. Like a lot of the show, though, the main highlights are always the season openers and enders, where you get all the plot. Everything in between is just kind of like everyone hangs out and talks about how cool Starlight Glimmer is and how much Thorax loves Dick and stuff like that. Very important topics. Alright, and then we have season 8. Ignore the one random pony on the left there. But except for the ponies on the left, these are the new main characters for season 8. And man, season 8's when the show had a big ol' quality dump. I was really sad. But I mean, I guess after 8 seasons, what can you do? But man, it was crazy. It was like night and day between these seasons. Or day and night, I guess, going in the proper order of things. So they introduce a bunch of new main characters to freshen up the show, but I thought the show was plenty fresh. Like I said, there was Starlight Glimmer, there was new changelings, there's already so much happening. Things just sort of, I guess I can appreciate that. Things never stop happening. They just keep adding new stuff. That's always, that's another way to always keep people interested, is add new stuff. Those, sometimes you just have a dud. So, Friendship School, whatever. Princess Twilight has more important things than a Friendship School, like hanging out with Trixie and Starlight Glimmer. Things that any pony would want to do all day. Whatever. So there's a Friendship School, and there's these 6 nerds who go to it, and they're all from different races, who cares, and the changeling design, unfortunately is stepped down. Ocelis here, I think is her name, does not have all of the colors. She isn't nearly as colorful as Thorax. Maybe once she grows up, she'll gain some colors and become as pretty as he is. But for now, she's a little dull in comparison. Some of the other designs are alright. Like, I don't have one strong feeling one way or the other on most of them. I mean, the dragon is pretty much Scootaloo, except a dragon, which is, like, terrible. I mean, who even likes Scootaloo? But, so, right, the school happens, because there's some evil guy who's basically uh super racist, and Twilight's like, racism is bad, okay? And she like, she's like, I want to kill this guy, but Celestia's like, you can't just murder people because they're racist. That's not okay. So Twilight's like, well, I'll start a school to get rid of racism. And Celestia's like, well, I guess you can start a school to get rid of racism, if you really want to. If you think that's how schools work. And then Twilight does it. And, like, I guess she gets rid of racism, kind of. Mostly because Starlight Glimmer's there, and everyone looks at Starlight Glimmer, and they're like, yeah, I'm not racist anymore, especially against ponies, because how could you be? So, that happens. And then the season finale happens, and they fight a little girl or something. It was really weird. I didn't get it. But whatever. They beat up a little girl and throw her in jail, and that's how they end the season, which is probably part of why I didn't like it very much. I'm not. Child violence isn't okay, guys. But hopefully season 9 will be a better cap off to the what has been a great series, because even with some of my disagreements on season 8, I mean, who could argue, like I said, season 6 and 7, especially season 6, just like 10 out of 10, best season ever's, best things ever. Clearly just the best. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about season 9. Oh yeah, I think it's season 8. I think seasons 7. I'm trying to remember if it's 7 or 6. I think it's 6. 6. One of the unfortunately, one of the worst episodes of season 6 was a Christmas episode, and they did that again in season 8. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what's up with all these holiday episodes. Well, I mean, I guess not all the holiday episodes are bad. I guess the Rainbow Cookie episode with Rainbow Dash was technically a Halloween episode, because everyone was acting all spooky when they had rainbow goop over their faces, because I don't know, because something. I mean, I feel like I was making the sort of half reference earlier, but I think it would be really inconsiderate of me to be like, lesbians are scary, and I'm sure that's not what they were going for. With the rainbow goop over their faces while they tried to act spooky. And like I said, it was a good episode, so I don't think they were trying to do anything mean like that. Clearly they would never do anything mean. I mean, Rainbow Dash is the nicest pony imaginable in that episode. And every pony it's just such a colorful episode for everyone involved. Okay, so getting back to season 8, so yeah, I don't know, they just do a bunch of episodes, and of course this season is the one they focus in on the new characters, instead of now that they have new characters I'm not as fond of. They're like, hey, look at all these guys. I'm like, man, why didn't you have as many episodes dedicated to good old Starlight Glimmer, or whatever, like other cool stuff? But fine, there's a bunch of stuff dedicated to the new cast. Oh yeah, I guess I could talk a little about those. I haven't really said a lot about the new cast people, including, so I already went over Starlight Glimmer. How much did I say about Thorax? He's super smart, super gay, super colorful. he's a changeling. Changelings are a thing. They can change or whatever. And I don't know, he's a fun-loving guy, changeling king. Very very noble, very serious guy, that Thorax. It's clear the changelings respect him a lot. Everyone does. So there's that. Thorax's brother is like his little nerd brother who's like, I wish I was cool like you, Thorax. And Thorax is like, no. You should be your own man. And his little brother's like, oh, that's even more cool, Thorax. And then they like have incest or something. I don't know. And so that's them. New six. Let's see. Dragon there is basically Scootaloo. The Yak is clearly just the who cares? I don't. Nobody cares about yaks. The the hippogriff there is basically Pinkie Pie. I don't really have much of a description for her. Honestly, maybe that's my problem. Most of these are just like, I can just be like, hey, that's basically Scootaloo, basically Pinkie Pie. The changeling there is basically Fluttershy. And Sandbar is the pony there is basically who cares. His personality is wooden. His personality is like doesn't exist. Nobody likes Sandbar. And then there's Gallus, who also nobody likes. I think his personality is that he's poor or something, and everybody in Griffinstone hates him because he's blue, and they're like, that's not how griffins look. And he's like, well, I like it. And then they kicked him out, and because he spent his money on stupid stuff like fur dye. And so now he's in this school for some reason, because Twilight provides charity to those who are stupid and in need. Anyways, so that's basically everything. It's everything I have to say about the new stuff. There's tons more that could be said, but I think I've taken in enough time. It was fun though. I'm glad to get back to discussing ponies. Hopefully, when season 9 comes out, hopefully it'll be just as good as season 6, and I'll have lots more thoughts to talk about. And I'll discuss proper plans and stuff for this channel in another video. For now, thank you all for watching, and remember that you can never have a nightmare if you never dream.